Hello guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome to HP to XP. I am Chris, the Dungeon Master for our Adventures in Umbranthal campaign, and we have for you here episode 3 of our campaign. Wanted to let you know that we did have a few technical issues with that episode, so we've edited this one just a little bit more to provide the best experience for you. Enjoy! Journey to Umbranthal is produced for mature audiences. The topics and roleplay may be challenging, including instances of violence, power, and race. Our chat and comments sections are a place to respectfully engage with these topics and offer us your feedback. Last week, our band of adventurers, having survived their bullet encounter, settled into an evening of food and rest. Fenn, taking advantage of the meat provided by their kill, prepared a meal of bullet steaks for the party. While eating, prepping camp, and unwinding from the stress of the encounter, Cloud broached the topic of Rhys with Anara, trying to understand his abrasive tendencies. Anara shared some insights into the environment that drow males live in and revealed that she had spent 17 years helping raise Rhys and hopes to sand off some of his rougher edges. Rhys, meanwhile, seeing Maple setting up Cloud's tent, inquired about their relationship, imagining that Maple served as some kind of squire for Cloud. Maple, being her charming self, explained that their relationship was less a matter of duty and more one of shared friendship. Rhys, though unconvinced about the reciprocity of the arrangement, let the matter drop. Anara and Maple took the first watch of the evening. Maple settled in to do her whittling and set to sharpening her knife on a found stone from her bag. Anara shared that a whetstone would make the job easier and offered to teach Maple how to use one if they managed to find one. The pair settled into an uneventful watch, Maple carving a likeness of the bullet, and Anara studying her texts. Ahzyris and Veirona, taking the second watch, had little conversation, each of them focused more on their individual study and reflection. Ahzyris in particular trying to fully understand the failure of his magic in battle and the ominous laughter he had heard as it happened. Listening into the night, they were alerted to the sounds of wolves in the distance, a reminder that the road is a dangerous place. Waking Fenn and Rhys for the final watch of the night, they let them know of the wolves. Rhys, asking Fenn about the threat of the wolves, found the answer he received unhelpful. Fenn, seemingly more interested than critical, pushed back on Rhys's manner of speaking. The two settled into a tense and quiet watch from then on. Morning came, the threat of the wolves never manifesting, and the party set off to finish the walk to Kholdrees. Along the way, they encountered a band traveling northward, either farmers or would-be adventurers, who offered slim news of the road south, but who made it clear that there was work to be had in the direction the party had come from. Walking into the afternoon, the party reached the outskirts of Kholdrees, the farm fields in the area being tilled by people Fenn recognized as wood elves, assuming them to be displaced from the Hobrock. Reaching the town of Kholdrees proper, several members of the party were taken aback at the opportunities. Cloud, Fenn, and Veirona went to present their credentials to Seveth, and the remainder of the party ventured into the general store. After presenting themselves at the Temple of Pelor, the trio met Seveth, a cleric working there. She asked to meet Rhys, having learned of his act of healing from Burrell's letter. The group assured her he would be staying with them and that they would try and facilitate the meeting. Cloud, meeting a trained cleric for the first time, had many questions for Seveth, who in turn had questions of her own for Cloud. It was agreed that the party would escort Seveth the following day, and with her advice would seek lodging for the night at the Tucked Inn. Anara, Rhys, Ahzyris, and Maple visited the general store and the smithies, procuring a variety of common and esoteric goods for their travels. Veirona informed Rhys that the cleric sought to meet him, knowledge that put him on edge. With the promise of comfortable lodging at a reasonable price, the nascent band made their way to the Tucked Inn. Rhys, giving word to Anara, peeled off from the party to visit the Temple of the Raven Queen. Anara, one to always keep an eye on her little brother, snuck after him and witnessed him performing a blood ritual on himself. At the inn, the party met the acquaintance of River, the energetic Tabaxi innkeeper, who, upon seeing Cloud, became even more enthusiastic, not having seen another Tabaxi in some time. The party, seeing notice of the job in Mysa posted at the inn, discussed that others might be pursuing the work as well. Realizing they had not informed Seveth of their lodgings, Fenn returned to the Temple of Pelor and escorted Seveth back to the inn. Along the way, he gained some insight into the refugee situation. Seveth suggested that a visit to meet with Kea, a refugee herself, who ran a gathering place in the tent city, might offer more understanding. Reaching the inn, Seveth asked to speak with Rhys, who had retired already. Anara persuaded her brother to come down and meet the cleric. Dropping invisibility, he retreated, though, from Seveth's attempt to take his hand. Unperturbed, Seveth took Anara's hand and offered a kiss, and a thank you for healing Thora, her daughter. And it is there that we resume our adventure. So, we are in the inn. Seveth has just said her thank yous. What are you all doing? And you can all take yourselves off mute.
Watching the scene with interest. I think we left off last time with the three of us just kind of sitting at the table like...
Rhys has gone
That's our
back
barkeep.
Yeah. Rhys has gone back upstairs to his room.
Okay, so you just immediately head back upstairs.
Yes.
Okay.
Fenn is going to separate from everyone and venture outside the inn and try to find this red tent and this Kea person and just kind of wave to everybody on his way out.
Okay.
Anara's
So
gonna go with Fenn.
okay. All right.
Wave as in come with, or wave as in goodbye?
No, wave is in goodbye.
Okay.
All right. Veirona, what are you doing?
Who's left? So Fenn, Anara, Rhys.
So Rhys has gone upstairs. Fenn and Anara are walking out the door. Seveth is standing there as people begin peeling off in various directions.
Cloud will tell Seveth, it's okay that we leave in the morning then, right? It is okay?
Yes, certainly.
All right.
That's fine.
Okay. Well, you've been a great help to me and my friends, so I really appreciate it. Also, if you find that book that talks about clerics, let me know. I would really love to know. And then if Zenith doesn't have anything else to say, Cloud will go to... did Anara go outside?
I went with Fenn.
Okay. Cloud will just continue to sit downstairs.
Okay. Does anybody have anything in particular to share with Seveth? That's still sitting here. Okay. Then she will look around, look up the stairs again in the direction that Rhys went, and sort of shake her head a little bit. And
shrugs.
I will leave you to your evening then. And she gives a courteous sort of nod and quarter bow and makes her way to leave. Okay.
Pierce sips his cider and watches.
So that just happened?
Okay. Maple, are you doing anything in particular?
Anora went, but
Maple is still gabbing away at the bar.
Okay.
Probably trying to teach her new friend how to whittle, if they're willing to learn.
Okay, yes. River is absolutely engaged as much as he can be in focusing on something. I'm just probably going to put a period there, as much as he can focus on something. So yes, he is attempting to learn how to whittle from you as things go. Fenn and Anara, as you are heading out, you walk outside of the inn, and Fenn, you can see off to the south where the tent is that Seveth had pointed out on the way.
And what time of day is it? Right about now?
It's evening. The sun is setting. You've been at the inn for a little while, enjoyed a meal. By the time you all went and retrieved Seveth and came back, you're into sunset at this point.
Well, Anara, I was just going to go chat and check in on with some of my kin. I understand that over here that some of them gather, not really my family, but just other wood elves. Of course, you're welcome to come, but I might ask some questions where I just want to be alone. I hope you don't mind.
I don't mind at all. I was mainly just going for a walk, and you seem like the easiest way to get out.
Well, okay. Well, that's fine. Well, I hope that's helpful, and then I'm gonna head on over to the area that Severith had indicated to me a bit earlier.
Veirona is here. Cloud will sit with Veirona and be like, so you mentioned, because both Rhys and Anara are gone right now, you mentioned that there's things about like these dark elves and there's like history there. Could you I don't know, tell me more about that?
Yes, that is a topic. Frankly speaking, you all don't know much about the Commonwealth. So it's more of that history. Basically, there are a number of attacks that have been perpetrated against the Commonwealth in recent time, and a number of them have unfortunately come at the hand of the Drows, the Dark Elves. So outside of that, I don't know much about them. This is my first experience with them personally, but unfortunately, my trust is going to be hard earned for them. Sure, they might not have perpetrated the attacks themselves, but one can't be a little too careful.
So there is a history there.
There is a history, unfortunately. Moving to something a little nicer, though. Did you get your questions answered?
Yes, and I fully. It is a bit frustrating because my questions led to more questions. Although some of my questions are not quite answered. Yes, I'm realizing that this is kind of a thing. Questions leading to other questions. But on the note of certain groups having, I don't know, certain things that are known about them. Is there anything that is I don't know, that people say about Tabaxi?
I couldn't say, honestly. The Commonwealth is very different. I'm coming to understand from where we are currently. And so my only experience would be with, I have a friend. She is a shifter. And that is the extent of my experience outside of meeting you. You are actually the first Tabaxi I've ever met.
Oh.
Actually, to be honest, I thought you were something different when we first met. But Fenn put me on the right. What is it? Rakesh? Anyways.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I was just curious then if maybe there was things that were being said about my kind as well. So,
No.
I appreciate that, knowing that information.
What about you don't talk much about home. Actually, turning to Ahzyris. We haven't talked at all, and we were on watch. That is strange. Where did you come from, if you don't mind me asking? We're going to be traveling together for a little while, so we may as well get to know each other at least passingly.
Yes, you're right. And he had been listening in on this conversation relatively intently. He looks down at his drink for a moment. Sorry, I did want to talk last night, but I had a lot on my mind and...
Oh, don't worry about it. Same thing.
Right. But yes, I think knowing a lot about, or at least something about each other would be nice if we're going to be traveling. But...
I feel like we know very little about you, Ahzyris. Not to say that you need to tell us everything, but like...
But we wouldn't mind it?
I would love to know more about you.
There's not really much. I come from a pretty small and secluded community. Never left before. We had very different views on the world as well, but I'm very much enjoying my time out here.
Your people had different views, or you had different views?
Both.
So, like, are there things that are known about your people, just like there are things that are known about Drows, or maybe Tabaxi?
It's hard to say.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead, Veirona.
No, it's fine. I was just curious because I saw you using magic, and I was curious. Are you a cleric, or what is kind of?
We were having a conversation in which, or the party was having a conversation in which they are discussing with Ahzyris. Ahzyris's background and history and whatnot. So, continue, please.
Things are also going very well. As a really good omen, I just knocked over my dice tower that I stacked for good luck. So this conversation's going good.
Great. 2020 can end any day now.
All right. Let's fucking do this. I believe Veirona was just asking about magic. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, that was the.
Wonderful. Yes. Actually, I'm a little embarrassed to admit I'm very new to wizard magic. I just started learning, and he'll pull out the spell book that he has been writing in during his downtime, and kind of gives it a little pat.
I've seen that. Anara has a similar book to that. Isn't that right?
I believe so. I've seen her reading a lot as well. It's very exciting.
Where did you start with your wizarding thing? I apologize. I don't know much about any magic, but anyways, how did you get into the wizarding thing?
Well, I was interested in learning, and we happened to have a little bit of information back home that I was able to get my hands on. I was able to bring it with me so that I could learn on the road. But you said that you don't know anything about magic. What were you doing last night, if you don't mind me asking?
Just call it guess and check. It's still very rudimentary. I don't know much about my magic either, but frankly speaking, I'm not trained as a mage. So I'm trained as a guard. I'm trained as an investigator. So magic, it can take a back seat. I have my crossbow. I have my wit. So that'll be enough.
I see. Well, if you ever do want to practice, I would love to help you out.
Oh, I would love to practice. I don't know what type of magic you do, but
So, shall we have a group study time, or
Sure,
I don't
sure.
I don't know.
I don't know what spells you can do, Veirona, but like for me, I can do this one. Like I can do that one that where you like, tell somebody that they're going to do a good job and then they get a little extra like oomph to do it, like guidance. That one, I can do that one.
I have a similar. I did not know that it was called guidance. I just it's strange. I feel like the power comes. I don't know. Do you feel like your power comes from you or from something else?
I don't really know exactly. I feel like it is confusing. I did not realize that like clerics have like gods and things like that because I always just like, thought that I was cool. But now I'm unsure. So I don't really know if I have a god. So I would have to look it up.
I want to clarify that was me laughing, not Ahzyris.
You're fine. But also I'm feeling a little bit tired, so I might go to sleep,
I agree. We've got the early morning anyways, so
yes.
Yes.
All right. So as the riffing for the DM party brings their conversation to a close, with much thanks and a free drink from River that does not get spilled all over you. So that is how appreciative at a meta level I am. So with that, Fenn and Anara, you have made your way out of the inn, and Fenn, you were able to see in the distance the tent that Seveth had pointed out to you where Kia and does her entertaining. So what would you like to do?
I'm gonna head over to that area and just step inside and maybe go look to get a drink and just kind of observe and go to the barkeep.
Okay. So on your way, you are making your way through sort of a series of tent areas. People coming and going a little bit, families doing their cooking outside of their tent. These are almost exclusively wood elves from what you can see. This would definitely be people who are familiar to you, even if you don't know them personally, so to speak. As you make your way to Kaya's tent, the tent itself is a good-sized, it would be probably the equivalent of a smaller circus tent, almost like a sideshow tent. So probably within the tent boundary itself is probably about a 30-foot long oblong that's maybe 15 feet wide or so. So it's a smallish tent, but certainly larger than many of the sleeping tents that you've walked past. There's a couple of overturned crates in one corner. Folks are gathered around a handful of small low tables, either sitting on small stools, some sitting on the ground. Off to the far end, once you've come in the door, is an area where the bar is and the barkeep.
Okay. Well, Finn's gonna walk in, just kind of glance around, feeling in the same time like connected because he sees so many wood elves around, but also in a way distant because not sure. He's not part of the community, but make his way towards the barkeep and excuse me.
Hello.
Yes. I was wondering what do y'all have as far as drinks here?
Well, we got ale. We got some wine. What would you like?
An ale will be fine for me.
All
And
right.
do you mind if I ask a question? I was talking to a cleric from the temple over there, and
All right.
they said that Kea was here.
I'm Kia.
Oh, well, Kia, nice to meet you. My name is Fenn. And I just was curious to have a drink, and I've been kind of traveling for a little bit and was just kind of trying to hear, how it's been for our people, for the wood elves and the situation and maybe even ask if where everybody who's residing here is from, or if they a word of any other wood elves.
All right. Can I get you anything, honey? She points to. You're muted.
Anara's not there.
Oh.
She's outside still.
Oh, okay. All right. So she goes and there's a small kind of keg on the upturned crate behind her. She pours an ale into a glass and hands it across to you. Well, where'd you come from? You're obviously on the road.
Well, we were up a little bit farther north. Came down because we had been asked. I have some companions staying over at the Tucked Inn, and we had been asked to deliver a message to this cleric, Severith. I don't know if you know her. She's the one who mentioned your name and said that you were really connected with the Wood Elf refugee population here.
Well, people come in for a drink. There's not a whole lot of money to go around, so folks don't make it over to the other places all that much. So they come here. We try and keep to ourselves a little bit, but try and stay out of trouble.
And is people are doing all right? I saw a number of tents on our way in. It seemed like people are working in the fields, finding some kind of
She's nodding as you speak, and it's hard, but folks are making do. Money's she kind of looks around at the place and recognizing your heritage, but still not entirely being kind of sold on who you are yet. You would be able to tell that she's being a little bit cagey. You wouldn't need to make any kind of roll to figure that out. But she's kind of looking around. It's not easy. Folks are doing what they can to make money and earn a living. There's not a lot for us, but this is what we got for home right now.
Is there any sort of group, whether wood elves or others, that are like where people can maybe provide some money? And I think I owe you for this drink. How much? What? How much was that?
2 copper.
I'm gonna slide over a gold piece and just say, please take this for you. I know others. I've been fortunate enough to be traveling and earned a little bit, and I know there are those that are less fortunate than I. And I also appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. Fenn, you said your name was?
Yeah, Fenn Etheron. I mean, Fennarius, if you go by my full name, but everybody's always just called me Fenn.
Sure, Fennarius. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. Folks here, they're working the way they can. It's hard. And she sort of points over her shoulder in the direction of what would be the main walled area of the city. Folks are never friendly to new folks coming in, especially in numbers. But there's work to be had, and folks are making do. We've heard that the other side of the hills, as you get closer to the coast, that things are a little bit better. Supposedly there's a city that's been a little more open
What's the name of that city? Do you know if a number of people headed over there too?
I don't know a name. Folks have just been calling it home. To be honest, I don't know if that's. I can't imagine that that's what its real name is, but it's. If you were to come south from Hobrock along the coast, it's supposed to be about 4 days walk. So if you were to head straight east from here, a little northeast, really, that's probably about 2 weeks if you were to head straight across.
Okay. Well, I
But
appreciate
a lot
that.
of folks have been trying to get the things together and get enough money and enough resources to be able to head that way. And it's supposed to be a little bit better over there. People are trying to, this is and she kind of gestures at the assembled multitude. Nobody inside the city wants to see us inside there. So the pay is what the pay is, and people do what they can.
I do have a sort of specific question. I don't expect you to have any answers, but have you heard of maybe two women, one older, one younger, maybe possessing some healing and druidic skills? They might have been traveling with a young boy elf as well. I just didn't know if you'd heard of anybody who had demonstrated those kind of abilities.
Well, I mean, we get druid type folk through from time to time. They travel quite a bit. They don't tend to stay here around the cities too much, but I haven't seen anybody that makes me think of that, especially two together with a younger boy. How young?
Yeah, gotta admit, probably for our people, probably in the 40s, 50s.
All right. So he'd look grown, but still getting there. All right. No, I can't say that I've seen anybody like that come through, but if I did, would you want me to point him in any sort of direction or ask a name or anything?
Well, if you hear of anybody, I mean, the names, the older woman would be named Kaylin.
Okay.
And the younger one would be named Leah, kind of almost like your name, but like Leah.
All right.
And then the boy is named Thosdrock.
All right.
And so, I don't even know if they're traveling together or anything. I just figured it'd be a random question for you, just kin of mine that I'm looking for. But
I understand.
I understand that sometimes that's like trying to find a needle in a stack full of needles, the way everything's gone down.
There's, yeah, for sure. I'm looking for kin too, so I understand. People spread all over.
I appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to slide over one more gold piece just as a thank you. And then I'm just going to take a seat at a table by myself.
Okay.
And just kind of stare into the ale for a bit, and then just slowly drink it and just kind of listen to the chitter chatter of other wood elves around me.
Sure.
Both feeling a bit of comfort, but also discomfort in it.
Okay. Make a perception check for me.
All right. Woohoo, 19.
Okay, so at a table slightly off to the side of where you are, you can hear two elves speaking who they are in hushed tones, but they are very much in a heated discussion about the a particular person that they keep calling Anara is what you hear, and they keep discussing it on the basis of this person being, you would gather from their conversation, a landlord of some sort who is having them work the fields and they are distinctly unhappy about these conditions, and are very there is the rumble of revolution in their speaking. So
Okay. I'm just gonna take a mental note of that name. Maybe kind of finish my drink and then take the mug back up to Kia and thank her. And then
You're welcome.
and on the way out, just kind of like, I overheard some rumbling about some guy named Anar, or some gal, I don't know who it is, but are there some troubles around?
She narrows her eyes at you. Make a persuasion roll.
All right. Oh no. 0. I rolled a natural 1.
Okay. So she looks at you. That's one of the bosses. He's fine.
Okay. I just heard the name and I didn't mean to pry.
All right. Well, thank you for your patronage.
Well,
Have
thank
a lovely
you.
evening.
Take care. And with that, Fenn is gonna head back to the inn.
Okay. Anara, are you following with Fenn? Are you hanging around over by the tent? What are you doing?
Actually, while Fenn was inside the tent, Anara went exploring. Is there by chance any like quiet parks or maybe grassy areas or anywhere that Anara can go and just sit down?
So there is no quiet and or grassy spot anywhere near this tent city.
Okay.
It is a very tightly packed area, sleeping tents right on top of other spaces, all of them occupied with people, many of them staring at you, quite unsure as to who you are and why you are in their location.
Okay. Anara's just going to kind of keep her eyes out, looking for anything that might come at her, but she's just going to keep walking.
Okay.
For a couple hours and then head back to the inn.
Okay. All right, Fenn. On your way back, give me a perception roll. You are muted.
That is an 18.
Okay, you are aware that 2 people have left the tent and are following you.
Okay. How far away from me are they following me?
They are staying far enough back that if you kind of do that casual glance over your shoulder, stop and look around a little bit like, oh, which way did I come from? I'm going to say they're staying about 100 feet away. So close enough that they are not going to lose you, but not right up on top of you.
Okay. And what is are there a number of people around? Or,
there is a reasonable number of people out still. There's still families coming and going and people back and forth.
Okay.
So,
I think I'm going to try to lose myself among the people, just to kind of subtly try to, I know they're keeping an eye on me, but just trying to lose myself in any kind of crowd as I make my way to see if I can use the people around me to avoid it.
Okay, go ahead and give me a stealth check. Just do a stealth roll.
And during Anara's wanderings and whatever, she's keeping an eye on the tent and watching for Fenn to come back out.
Okay.
She's gonna kind of keep tabs on him.
Okay.
Okay, I rolled a 17.
Okay. Anara, you would have seen Fenn come out of the tent had you stayed basically in the area where you could have seen him. When he came out, were you going to reconnect with him?
No, I'm gonna stay back a ways.
Okay. All right, Fenn. So you go ahead and sort of seeing what you think is going on here, getting this sense that you're being watched. You kind of weave in and out of some people behind a tent or two. You feel like you've lost them.
I'm just gonna be like muttering to myself, like, it's funny what a simple, awkward question can lead to, apparently, even among my own people. I don't know what I feel like I just need to get where they can't see me anymore. And as I'm muttering to myself, as awkward talking to myself as I am with everybody else, and I'm going to feeling like I might have gotten away or escaped their eye for a bit, make my way back to the inn.
Okay, give me one more stealth check.
Okay.
And does Anara see these two people following Fenn?
Give me a perception roll.
I'll let you do yours first.
6.
Okay.
20.
Okay.
Which is my second one of the night.
Okay, so natural one. Okay. Fun times. All right. So, Anara, you absolutely see these two people kind of come out and, they kind of slide out of the tent maybe a minute or so after Fenn has come out and begun making his way back to the inn. You see them come out and get their eyes on him right away, and as he's moving, they're sort of following behind. As he slows up, they slow up and seem to engage in a conversation with one another. And then, as he starts to duck around a corner, they look real quick and start to follow.
I'm going to keep following them.
Okay, easily done.
Okay.
So you continue to follow them. They seem to be confused at one moment where Fenn has gone. You, at this point, being further behind them, you have now not seen where Fenn has gone. But give me another perception roll for having followed them a little bit.
That is an 8.
Okay, yeah, you don't see Fenn, and now you're at a point where there's just this kind of gaggle of bodies and movement and people, and they're taller than you, and they all look like wood elves. So you're sort of not spotting any key features that distinguish Fenn. You can't really see clothing all that well.
We're all wood elves here. No.
So
Well, I wasn't really following Fenn at this point. I was following the two people following him.
yes, them you're continuing to follow without any problem. I was having you see whether or not you had any idea where Fenn was in all of this as
Got
well.
it.
So you do absolutely see them. You do not see Fenn at this
Okay.
point. They also seem like they don't see him. They are now moving with much less purpose and seem to be a bit befuddled by where he is.
Okay. So Anara's going to kind of stick to the shadows and try to stay as stealthy as she can, and
Okay.
just kind of follow them regardless of where Fenn is. She's just going to keep following them to see what they do.
Okay, so they walk around for maybe 15 minutes, sort of now having seemingly lost him, and, obviously getting frustrated by the whole thing, shaking their heads and, looking around a bit. They go ahead and make their way back to the drinking tent that they had come out of, where Fenn was at.
Okay. I'm going to pull my hood up and go inside with them. And just
Okay.
kind of sit back far enough that I'm kind of still in the shadows, but close enough that I can hear them.
Okay.
Are they talking about anything
They
specific?
are now muttering about who this guy was, who's this stranger that has come through, seems to be asking a lot of questions, throwing a lot of coin around. The gist of what you would get from them is that they are very aware of the fact that the bosses send in essentially spies to pay attention to what the folks working the fields and whatnot are doing. So that from their conversation, it seems like that is what they are thinking Fenn may have been doing.
Okay. I'm going to sit there for a little bit and just kind of pull up my book and not really read, just kind of keep an eye on things.
Okay. Are you going to go order a drink or anything like that?
I'll get a drink and have it and bring it back to my table. Not really going to talk to anybody though, aside from the ordering.
All right. So you go up and order, and Kea sort of gives you a quizzical look. What can I get for you?
Ale, please.
All right. What? We don't get
And
many.
before she finishes, I slide her 3 gold.
Right.
And walk back to my table.
Okay.
They're all gonna think I'm a spy now.
She pockets the 3 gold, come off the table. Make a perception roll.
Okay. 19.
Okay, you can tell that she is looking between you and these two who had been following Fenn, trying to get sort of that, do you see what I see sort of look.
Okay.
So they make no move to come over to your table or anything like that.
Okay.
Fenn, while this is going on, are you heading straight back to the inn, or are you going somewhere else?
I am going back to the inn. I would like to do a couple things before I bed down for the night. At a time, whether you want to continue with Anara now,
okay,
or
yeah, we'll
come
get
back to me.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So you head back to the inn without any further issue. Anara, how long are you going to hang out before you decide to leave?
Long enough to finish my drink, maybe read a little bit in my book. But basically just long enough that I can make sure that these 2 people are not any danger at the moment, and then I'm just going to head straight back to the inn.
Okay. So they don't seem to be aggressive towards you while you're in the tent. You get up and you leave. Give me a perception roll.
That would be an 8.
As far as you know, they have not left the tent, nor are they following you.
Okay.
So
I just keep walking back.
Okay, are you heading straight back then?
I'm going to take a lot of turns.
Okay.
Just to kind of confuse them.
Give me 1 stealth roll.
1 stealthy roll.
1 stealthy.
Come on. 19.
Okay. Very good. So you weave in and out of people and spaces using your sort of diminutive stature to kind of duck under and around things, scurrying a bit, knowing when to sort of speed up and slow down to change the pace at which you're moving, and you make your way back to the inn unaccosted.
Okay.
All right. So, go ahead.
When I walk in, is Fenn still downstairs, or has he already gone upstairs?
Fenn, are you still downstairs, or have you gone upstairs?
I've gone upstairs.
You have gone upstairs. Is anyone still downstairs when Fenn and then Anara walk in? We know Rhys isn't. Ahzyris?
I've gone to bed.
Once everybody else went to bed, Ahzyris actually was going to take a walk around town.
Okay. All right. We'll get to that in a minute then. Veirona, have you stayed down and continued drinking? Did you go up?
Yeah, sleeping.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. Veirona has gone upstairs. Maple, have you gone up or stayed down waiting on people?
That depends. Steph, did Cloud tell Maple that they were going upstairs?
Yeah, I imagine that, like, for the sake of brevity, I imagine that, like, when Cloud finished talking with Veirona and Ahzyris, that Cloud would come and get Maple, and the 2 of you would probably, like, chat and stuff and go upstairs if you want.
Okay. Yeah, then Maple's passed out.
Okay.
She fell asleep rather quickly. She was very upset that this was not a bunk bed situation and that she had to be in her own room by herself.
Understandable. Okay, Ahzyris, you have waited for everyone to go upstairs and have gone ahead to leave prior to Fenn and Anara getting back in. So, what would you like to investigate?
Just wants to take a casual walk around town and keep an eye out for any familiar faces.
Okay.
But that's about it.
Okay. Is there a particular direction that you would like to wander?
No, I think just like generally around.
Staying
Probably
outside the walls or going back inside the walls?
Give me another very brief description of the city because my memory is very bad.
Not a problem. So from where you are standing to the south of you, heading away, is where the tent city is at. To the east of you is the walled city proper. The inn that you are staying in is outside of the main walled city and is where the general store was. There was a couple other taverns that you passed on the way in. There's a handful of other buildings outside the walled area on this end that give the impression of being where many of the folks traveling through or on the road, not staying in Hosties proper, but kind of transiting the area, would be staying, as opposed to people who live and work within the city itself, who are what you would have seen on the inside of the city walls.
Okay. In that case, first around the little area outside the wall,
Okay.
and then go in.
Okay. So as you are wandering around the area outside the wall, you head sort of back north a bit, looping your way through this area, and you go past the incredibly loud bar that you had seen on the way in. It's hopping. It's loud. It's ruckus. There's a lot going on in there. There are a couple other more quiet places down the way. Seem to be smaller than the Tucked Inn. The loud place is known as the Swan, if you remember the guards having talked about it as being kind of the cheap hotel and inn in town. You would likely remember that. So that's the place that is. It's about the same size as the Tucked Inn, but it definitely seems to be much fuller. There's a lot more activity going on, more people coming and going, whatnot.
Okay. Yeah, with a busy tavern, I think he probably will step in to just order a quick drink, sit down if there is space, just so that he could drink, take a look around, see if there's anyone he recognizes, and then continue his walk.
All right, walking in, you see the bartender, who is a 7-foot-tall half-orc, and there are a smattering of other people in there. There are half a dozen tieflings, a whole bunch of dwarves. There's humans, handful of elves, not as many as in any of the other places in town. So this is everybody in this place looks like they are ready for a fight. Like they're all well into their cups. There's a lot of yelling and shoving. There's you can see the remains of some broken chairs over in a corner. This is the place where people come to get down. So,
what a nice place.
You walk up to the bar and order.
Yeah, just probably get an ale and take a seat somewhere.
All right. So the bartender, ale. All right. He goes over and grabs an ale. We don't see many I don't see many like you come through here. I'm Durzum. What's your name?
My name's Ahzyris. I'm just passing through with some friends.
Hearing your voice, Durzum kind of turns his head a bit quizzically, not entirely sure. Were you hurt? What? Is that your normal voice?
Yes.
Huh. Did somebody punch you in the throat or something? What?
He giggles a little bit.
Where
No.
you come from?
Oh, just a little north of here. Traveling for a job with my friends to gather a cleric here. I'm very excited. I've never been here before. This is a lovely tavern.
Thank you. You're people from up in the Alberg?
We're near it, yes.
Oh, all right. My folks came from there ages ago. I ended up here. You need room or?
No, I just wanted to rest for a minute and get another drink.
All right. He kind of looks at you again quizzically. You do not see any other orcs or half-orcs in here. So again, he definitely is giving you that look like, okay, well, where'd you come from? And hands you another drink. It's 2 silver.
Hands it over.
Okay. Easily done.
Mm-hmm.
And he leaves you to your drink.
He will give a quiet thank you, sit down, and as he is drinking, casually look around. I'm assuming probably nobody recognizes, but worth a shot.
Go ahead and give me an investigation roll.
Investigation? All right. There's a lot of people in here. It's very noisy. 11.
11. Yeah, you are definitely surprised by the number of faces that you see in here, but none of them seem very familiar.
Cool. Well, he'll finish his drink, continue his little walk.
Okay. You walk around the city for however long you would like. Are you looking for anything in particular as you walk?
No, just again, glancing at any passersby. If there are any businesses that are still open, just kind of, again, glancing in the windows, seeing if there are any familiar faces. But that's it. That's all he's looking for.
Okay. Give me one more investigation roll.
Goody. Oh, even better. 9.
You continue to be amazed by the number of people that you see moving about, and none of them look the slightest bit familiar.
They all start to look the same at some point. He's just like, oh god.
Well, the thing is that you're looking at the top of a lot of people's heads, so that's the trouble, is that not everybody is looking up at you. So
Good point.
They start to all blend together.
Cool.
Okay.
Well, he'll eventually head back, head up to his room.
Okay. Fenn, you had some things that you wanted to accomplish before you retired for the evening.
Yeah, so basically heading into my room, and the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of pull out some mistletoe and mutter an incantation and kind of remember images from the forest, and I'm going to cast Goodberry.
Okay.
So I will go ahead and do that. And then from that, my mind's kind of distracted by everything that's going on, having come into a city with a large number of wood elves, having had the conversation and hearing no promising leads on the people I'm looking for, half-heartedly knowing that that's unlikely anyway, and at the same time disturbed by what I hear and the suspicions and having been followed. So I try to lie in the bed, but Finn's not used to this type of bedding. And so after tossing and turning for an hour or so, Finn's gonna unroll his bedroll on the floor and sleep on there. And that's how I'm gonna pass the night.
Okay. Easily done. Anara, as you return, there is none of your companions are in the bar. What would you like to do?
I'm going to go up to Rhys's room and knock on the door to see if he's still awake.
Okay.
Rhys, you still awake?
What?
Do you mind if I come in for a moment?
Sure. He'll go and unlock the door.
Okay.
Do you mind if we talk for a moment?
About what?
Anara walks in, closes the door behind her. You've been a little sour lately. Is there anything particular going on?
Anara, what do you mean by lately? Lately?
You used to smile a lot. You used to laugh. I haven't seen that in the last few days.
Well, there's not a lot to laugh about. What has been laughable about all of this? Besides the odd choices and mannerisms of our companions. Some of that is laughable, I agree. Haha.
That in itself is very laughable. We've definitely become quite a motley crew. But you've been a little extra lately in your... How should I put it?
Did you just call me extra? Extra what? Extra what?
Extra you.
Extra attentive? I think one of us has to be. I mean, you're doing a wonderful job convincing them that you're not a true elf, and they definitely believe that. However, they're still thinking it, so I don't understand the need to put on such a show personally. But
there's no show. I'm trying to make the best of a rotten situation. And if we're going to make it in this world, you're going to need to step up a little brother.
Step up? You want me to be nice to them? Is that what you're saying? You want me to be nice?
Nice will come in time. I'm thinking more just not so cruel.
Cruel?
The way you were teasing Mabel. You know she can't grow her ears out.
Oh, that was pretty funny, wasn't it?
Admittedly, it was a little funny.
Well, I just don't see the point, and I don't know. We don't know how long we're going to be with these people, so I really am not so invested in pretending as though we shall be tied together, tethered, forever inseparable on some journey together. We don't even know what we're doing besides we got hired to retrieve a cleric that tried to kiss me, which highly offensive, first of all. Didn't ask, just tried. As though I wanted to her disgusting lips on me.
Which reminds me, and I lean in, give Rhys a kiss on the cheek. That you were owed.
That's fine. Perfectly fine with that.
But since we don't know how long we're going to be with this group, whether it be short term or long term, wouldn't hurt you to at least try to get to know them a little bit.
As a matter of fact, I am getting to know them quite well. I know that one is a squire. So that's definitely learning all about the incredibly interesting customs because I'm so interested in getting to know them.
So what you're saying is you're going to play the strong, quiet type.
I don't
Is
know
that what
about
you're saying?
quiet, but I don't enjoy talking to them, so I don't see the point most of the time unless I have something valuable to say. Most of them just talk because they like to talk.
Well,
That's not me.
I know there's one of them in particular that I think they might fancy you a bit.
What? All right. We're done talking. So if you would kindly, there's really that's first of all that's ridiculous, and secondly, why
you
do
are
we
very
need?
lovable. Despite yourself, you are very lovable.
Lovable. Oh, good night. Good night.
Good night, Rhys. And Anara heads back to her room.
All right. He locks the door behind her.
All right. Ahzyris, you return from your walkabout. Do you do anything in the bar, or are you just going up to bed? What are you going to do?
He does go back up to his room, and he is going to sit on the bed after setting his stuff aside for a bit and take a moment to appreciate having a room to himself again. And then he's going to look around and decide against practicing or testing a couple things in here because this is the indoors and that would be a bad idea.
Okay.
So instead he just again focuses his attention on his spell book and studies and does that for a couple of hours before going to bed.
Okay. Easily done. You all, did anybody have any evening ritual or anything that they wanted to do before we say everybody gets a long rest? Cloud, did you have anything? Maple, did you have anything? No? Okay. No? All right. Sarah looked suddenly very excited but quiet, so I wasn't sure what Maple was up to.
Maple made something,
Okay.
but that'll be announced in the morning.
Okay, very good. So you all retire. You go ahead, get to sleep. You are able to get a long rest for all of you. As morning comes, you begin reaching various stages of consciousness and sort of beginning to rouse. Rhys and Anara and Fenn sort of waking up and moving earlier in the day. Veirona and Maple and Ahzyris beginning to come downstairs. Cloud coming down last of all. And the morning is yours. What would you like to do?
I assume that we're probably going to hit the road as soon as the priest arrives, right? We're gonna start going.
Sabbath isn't here.
Sabbath is not here.
Okay.
You did not make any particular arrangement with Sabbath as far as if you were going to get them from the temple, if they were going to meet you here, so they are not here.
No, we should probably go and pick them up.
I thought we did that. No. Okay.
It was just going to be that you left in the morning, but there was no...
Okay. I imagine that, like, we could just send somebody to go get Sabbath.
Sure.
I can go get Sabbath.
Easily done.
I'll go with Cloud.
Okay.
Cool.
Cloud and Anara go to the Temple of
Rhys begrudgingly goes with Anara.
Okay.
He just doesn't look like he wants to, though.
Okay. It would be hard to tell the difference. So Rhys, Anara, and Cloud all go to the Temple of Pelor. Rhys and Anara, you not having been here before, see that it is in the sort of farthest corner to the northeast as you walk into the walled city itself. Large open courtyard surrounded by pillars, a large marble stone. Rhys, you would recognize this as being an altar of some sort. Small small building at the back end of the courtyard. Cloud goes up, knocks on the door. Seveth comes out, appears ready for the road. And are we ready?
Yes, I think we're ready. Oh, go ahead, Rhys.
I was just going to say, it looks like you have all your knickknacks and manners, so we can go ahead and start walking then.
Very good. And Seveth begins walking.
Cool. I don't have much to. Oh, go ahead.
Rhys is going to stand more than an arm's reach from her. Just like.
Okay.
I don't have anything particular to do. I just want to make sure I talk to Maple once we start walking.
Okay. Does anybody have anything else that you need to do before you get on the road?
I'm just getting some good eating done.
All right. Easily done.
Yeah. Ditto.
Mm-hmm.
River is bringing
Breakfast.
out plates of bacon. There is porridge. There is a sort of a sticky, sweet sort of bread. There's eggs if you want them.
We eat.
You eat.
Yeah, gotta get my vittles on.
All right. So
DM, do these look like pancakes?
They
So this is...
make a perception check.
This game is going to turn
You
into
make a
like
perception.
a tour of tavern food and like turning monsters into food. I'm all for
12.
it.
It is absolutely a pancake.
I'm sorry, did you just say we're turning monsters into food?
Oh yeah, we already did. We're gonna turn into Dungeon Meshy. It'll be great.
I think Maple, in exchange for her food, still with tears in her eyes and sniffling a little bit, because she did not sleep well just alone in a room by herself. Is River's the one serving them breakfast, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey there, bud. I just think that you need to invest in some of these. And the whittle that Maple made last night was a small replica of bunk beds. So she will slide that across the table. Just you know, a little bit of a visual aid for you. I just, you know, people like me, we really thrive in places that have these. So if you have anybody else that gets along with you as well as I do, maybe that would be a good idea to get.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a good idea. Dursum and I had talked about the idea. His place has it, but yeah, maybe I could do it here too. Thank you. That's very sweet of you. Thank you.
Maple's solemnly eating her eggs. You're welcome, bud. I'm glad you appreciate the effort.
I do. And River bends down and kind of gives you a big hug, and you feel this kind of bristly tongue go through your hair a few times.
Rhys looks to Anara and says, "What is it with this town and the unwanted attention? This is disgusting."
Well, not all attention is unwanted, but it's definitely not exactly pleasant all the time.
It's aggressive.
Ahzyris is still at the bar, right?
Ahzyris is chilling with everybody, eating breakfast.
I think Maple will turn to Ahzyris and sheepishly pull out the wad of small ripped ends of the shirt she purchased and other small pieces of cloth that she acquired with Anara at the shop. And she'll kind of slide them across the bar at Ahzyris, and she'll go, hey bud, I think I'm feeling a little better now. So would you be able to help me with an art project?
An art project?
Yeah, you always look so well put together, you know. I have a little bit of rope in my bag. Could you maybe help me put these together, you know, in a little stack? It's for Claude, and I know how much they appreciate neatness.
Sure. I don't know if I'll be very helpful, but I'd love to help. at least try.
Well, I tried last night, and this is as far as I got. So as long as they look better than these, then I'd say we're in a good place.
God, I love people. Sure thing. I'll do my best. God. He will try to help do whatever she is trying to do.
So did
Easily
did Seveth and like the rest of everyone, are they already back, or?
I'm assuming we sent for them after we finished eating so that they weren't just standing around waiting.
It can be however you wanted it to be. However, everybody is there now because
Rhys saw the pancakes.
Rhys saw the pancakes and the affectionate grooming of Maple.
All right, Veirona like
The cleanest she's
polishes
ever
off her
been.
plate. Yay. Veirona just polishes off her plate, downs the cup of coffee. All right, good to go. Yeah. Let's go. Get the day on the road. So on and so forth.
Yeah, I think so too. Rhys was right. Last time we did hear some wolves on the way, and so it's probably best that we go ahead and start making our way. And at least, and Severus, just to warn you, there were some creatures out on this journey. So
they're off and on.
Maybe we can try with this art project a little bit later. Says, sliding the cloths back over.
Oh, how done are they? Are they like half in it?
I have no idea what she wants, so I don't know.
I think Maple doesn't necessarily know like what a bow is, but she's probably seen one, so she'll kind of like gesture with her fingers, like a little, you know.
Oh, you literally just want them tied together. Okay, yeah, easy enough. Gotcha. I wasn't sure if it was more than that, but yeah, never mind. That's fine.
Between the two of them, I feel like they could figure it out.
Eventually, they'll figure it out. Between the two of them, we know what arts and crafts are.
Maple's single brain cell just couldn't quite handle it, so.
Easily done. So, you go ahead and set off on the road. What is your marching order?
Fenn will take the lead again.
I imagine that Cloud would want to be up in the front, so maybe Cloud and Maple are up near Fenn.
Okay.
If Maple wants to walk with Cloud.
As soon as Maple gets outside, she immediately races towards Cloud. Cloud, bud, I'll take that bag from you. I'm so sorry you had to carry it for so long. I didn't see you before you left this morning. I'm so sorry.
It is okay, Maple. I wanted to kind of talk to you once we get started walking because, I saw that you were a little sad this morning, and I feel like, maybe next time we stay somewhere, we should share a room.
Well, you know what, bud? I actually thought you were mad at me, because we were going to be staying in a place where we weren't staying in the same room. I know we've only slept in the same place a couple times, but I've been so used to sleeping alone that I got a little bit too used to it. So it didn't feel very nice, but I'm glad you're doing okay this morning.
Right. Yeah, it is. I would feel better. Let me say that again. I would feel better if you stayed in my room at night.
Maple is absolutely beaming. I think she frantically, digs in the bag a little bit. I don't know where Ahzyris would have tucked it into her bag, but she eventually finds it and pulls out the small pillow of small claws, along with the perfume that she got. And she doesn't really know how to present it because she's never really given anybody a real gift before that she hasn't made. So she sort of just holds her hands out with the stuff in it. I'm gonna go, this is for you, bud. I know it's been a minute, and you said that you wanted to get a good bath in, but we haven't really had the chance. So I figured this is as close as we can get for now.
Oh, wow. Maple, I don't even know what to say. Thank you. This is very nice. I was not expecting a gift from you,
Well, I just hope that you're not upset with me anymore. We didn't spend the night together, but I feel like we're okay again.
I think we're just fine, Maple. In fact, I've been meaning to talk to you about those papers that you have, and maybe when we stay the night, where we're staying next, we can spend some time alone, just you and I, because I want to be able to tell you a little bit more about them.
Oh, that would be so swell, bud. They are absolutely just burning a hole in my shorts over here. I can't make heads or tails of them, but it feels really good to know that you're willing to help, bud.
Thanks.
Yeah, Maple's just gonna walk alongside Cloud. She doesn't mind being in the front for once. It feels kind of nice.
Okay, so Fenn and Cloud and Maple. Where's the rest of the group?
Anara's gonna walk up and walk next to Veirona.
Okay.
Morning.
Right, so be right next to Anara.
Okay.
I think Ahzyris will just walk in the middle of the group this time.
Okay.
Shove Seveth in there.
All right. So we have Fenn up front, Cloud, Maple, everybody else sort of clustered together, kind of a middle and rear rank all together.
We're pear-shaped.
So that's it's perfectly fine. It's a wedge formation. As you are making your way out of town, Fenn, you see that folks are already well at work in the fields, working on tilling and getting ready for planting as it is getting into spring and the planting season here. You walk for about an hour and the farm land sort of gives way to less cultivated, more open area like you had on the way in. Are you taking the same road back? Are you investigating to see if there's another way? Did anybody ask Seveth if there was another way?
For Fenn right now, I think is just looking directly to go back the same way, thinking that's the quickest way. It's familiar. Okay. We're just trying to get back. I don't know if we have any, objections.
Sure.
I mean, it's a major road for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure. Easily done. Go ahead, Fenn, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay. That is a 16 for a 20.
Okay. As far as you can see off to the horizon, things seem very clear and calm. No obvious dangers afoot as you are moving along the way. Is anybody looking to have any conversation or do anything en route?
So, Veirona, I heard that you are from the Commonwealth. Is that correct?
Yes, that is my home.
What can you tell me about it?
Oh. Well, that is an interesting topic. How about this? I'm very curious about you as well. So, would you mind if we go question for question?
I don't see any harm in that.
Okay. Well, how much do you know about the Commonwealth? Everyone kind of indicated that they maybe don't know anything, and so
I only know what I've read in the history books. I've never actually left Isterland until now.
Do I recognize Isterland?
Give me a history check.
First roll of the night, yeah. Nope, not bad. 15.
15. You have heard the name and know that it is referred to as the city of Drow.
Isterland. That more or less checks out. Well, to put it simply, my hometown is Cassina. It's a relatively large city, just on the kind of border area near Hubrock. It's a relatively well-known city within the Commonwealth. That is basically the gist of where I came from. What about you? What was home like?
Well, as you're probably already aware, it is a cave city. The Underdark doesn't get much light. It's very how should I put it, matriarchal, as the word I think is correct. We've been here for so long, I'm not even sure what to expect here on the surface, to be honest. But
But
Istalan,
let's start there. Let's start there. Everyone likely has their reasons for leaving home. You know, Maple has no memory. Fenn has, as far as I'm aware, no family. Or maybe he's searching for it. What about you? Why did you leave?
to be quite honest, I'm not quite ready to talk about everything that happened. But if it will suffice, let's just say it was not by choice.
Then do we have to worry?
I hope not.
You hope not.
I hope not. I myself am no threat, at least not to this group.
And your brother?
I'll let Rhys answer for himself.
What?
Are you a threat?
Depends on who you are, doesn't it?
Fair answer.
I'm not
Well-
harmless, if that's your question. No,
Well,
I'm not harmless.
obviously.
Wasn't raised that way. None of us are.
None of us would be adventuring if we were so softly raised. That being said, forgive me, but I don't trust either of you quite yet.
Trust will come in time.
I think that is correct. To answer your question, because I know this is going to be coming, I was trained as a guard and an investigator, and the Commonwealth, I am aware of our history with one another, at least in regards to the Drows encroaching on our territory. So,
To be
that
honest,
folk-
we've heard the same coming from the Commonwealth as well. A lot of things have happened within our society that have been believed to be the direct efforts of the Commonwealth. So unfortunately, it's a little bit on both sides, I believe.
Well, then at least we stand on common foot and equal ground.
It's a start.
It's something. That said, please don't take offense, but I will sleep with my bag relatively close for the time being.
Better safe than sorry.
Veirona will just continue walking. Keep her eyes on swivel.
Okay. Any other conversations along the way?
Anara's going to head up towards Fenn.
Okay.
Rhys follows.
Fenn, did you know that you were being followed last night?
Yeah, I saw a couple of them fellas kind of come out after I'd gone in there, so I wasn't sure what it was. I admit, especially I dropped a couple gold to help people out. Maybe people saw it and thought about robbing me, so I just tried to scurry away for a bit.
Turns out that they were actually workers that they thought you were there to spy on them.
Well, I hadn't ever been really good at spying, so I don't know why they would think that. I just figured they were looking to maybe rob me because desperate times sometimes lead to desperate measures. But there was some talk about some like landlord or something that was maybe giving some people a hard time over there, but I didn't pick up on all of it. And I asked the barkeep, but she just kind of gave me, I call it the stink eye. And then after that, I decided I should probably leave.
Probably a wise choice. Might want to maybe steer clear of them, maybe for just a little while.
Well, I've been pretty good at steering clear of everybody for a while now. So, but thank you for that. And then Finn's gonna kind of go back to focusing on the road ahead.
Fenn, I'm awfully curious about something.
He takes a step forward and he goes, "What is that, Rhys?"
Did you expect the people of that town to just answer your questions right away, or that you would fit right in there when you're clearly not from there?
No, but then they're not from there either. I didn't expect anybody to accept me. Everybody's suspicious. I mean, among my people, most of them have been driven from their homeland and are just trying to survive. And when you're just trying to survive, you don't know who to believe or who to trust. And so I understand it. It's nothing I haven't seen before.
Right. I've forgotten that you've seen so much. Well,
I don't know if I've seen so much. It's just that is a common experience for me and for others like me.
right, that you're all wandering about without a home and you're so desperate to find one. Just reeks from you all the time.
I'd say finding a home is a few steps too forward to even think about. It's just trying to survive. Something maybe you might be familiar with as well. Especially when it's a survival that's unfamiliar.
Fair enough.
It's hard. That I can share with you, Rhys. It is hard. And if you have to go through something similar or even experience it now, I sympathize. I know I might not understand it. I know you likely don't understand why.
All right, we're done. And then Rhys walks back to the back of the party.
And Fenn keeps talking to himself, not realizing that Rhys is done. And then
Anara's still there.
And then sees that and it's like, this is why I just walk up front by myself most of the time, and then just muddles and goes back to scouting.
Okay.
Anara just stays right there with him. Right in the front.
Okay, easily done. Then for, let's call it the second third of your travel, Fenn and Anara, give me perception rolls.
That would be a 22.
Okay, Fenn?
11.
11. Okay. The road ahead continues to seem clear. You continue on. Anybody else having any particular conversations along the way that they would like to have? Anything at all?
Just casual conversation with oh man, hold on. I already forgot her name. The one we're escorting. Seveth. I had it written down.
Sure.
Just casual conversation every now and then. Okay. Not the entire time, but just keeping things nice.
Okay. Anything in particular that you are talking about, or just a general?
No, for now, just chatting.
Okay. Easily done. Seveth seems open to being chatted with if you care to, is not being particularly inquisitive about you or who you are, is definitely sort of watching this entire party with a little bit of wariness, but not outright concern. Just okay, trusting.
Who the fuck are these people?
Trusting Burrell's letter of invitation and going with this group.
How far into the journey are we?
You are into the second third of it, so you've been traveling for the better part of 5.5, getting on for 6 hours.
Well,
do we have any plans to stop? I can continue going, but I don't know about the rest.
I think we can push on through. We might get there right as the sun's falling, but I don't think I personally think I'd prefer to push on through and get to a settlement, especially having heard those wolves. That
I agree. I agree. I'm more just gesture to everyone else. They have any objections? How does actually? How does Seveth look? Like
Seveth,
tire, just totally fine.
yeah, doesn't.
Okay.
She is
Okay.
not asking for a rest or anything like that. Just head down, continuing down the road.
Anyone? No. All right. Fenn?
Whatever gets me out of the sun quicker.
Clouds.
Mm.
Probably, but we'll see.
Oh, I love the sun. The sun is great.
I've heard
Oh, that's going to
umbrellas
be-
are useful as well.
Umbrellas?
Yes, they're this interesting object that I found once. Don't worry about it.
No,
I was
I'm
about to say-
curious. What is this umbrella you speak of?
Is it something from your clan or from your hometown?
No. Some of our people brought some home, and they're very interesting. They keep the sunlight out. They're these little domes that you open up and hold above you, and it keeps the sunlight out. They're very cute.
Kind of limits the use of the hands, doesn't it?
Oh, yes.
Then how do you operate a crossbow or defend yourself?
I imagine you wouldn't. I just
Is it-
remembered they existed.
Is it a weapon of some kind?
Maybe it has a spike on the end. Like one end is protection domes, the other end you stab people with.
Maybe.
Sorry for inventing umbrellas, Chris.
Okay.
Apparently, umbrellas are now canon in Umbranthal, so that's all right.
I was thinking more parasol, but umbrella was the word that came out first.
That's all right.
You know
It's
what?
fine.
Pancakes are canon.
Yeah,
Parasol it.
yeah,
Mhm,
not a
mhm.
problem.
Hera
Uh,
sold it.
It is a collective story creation process, Mirage, so it is important that we all inform the world.
I'm adding very important lore.
You see, you know what? Sometimes
Yes.
sometimes it is about deep and thoughtful history, and sometimes it's about flavor. Both are essential to telling a good tale. So, any other conversation going on as I now have to create the Parasol District someplace?
Just staring at the canopies of the trees, thinking, having heard this conversation about umbrellas and noticing that they also can black out things as Fed continues forward.
All right, easily done.
Of course, using trees.
What's wrong with trees?
Maple Cloud, any further conversations with you two or with anyone else?
I mean, I think Maple will kind of nudge Cloud with her elbow and go, "Hey, bud, I think this is a good step for us. You know, you got your first one of the clerics. That could be a check off of our list. You know, I know you said that for a trade for you helping me figure out my past a little bit. You know, I would help keep you safe on your search for clerics, and we found one, bud. We're making it."
I agree. I am very, very glad that we met a cleric. I'm realizing, based on last time when we talked, I'm like made a list of things that I'm learning about the clerics, and I'm learning that there are many of them. So I feel like I will have to, unfortunately, meet more of them, but I'm looking forward to it. I feel like I have more questions, like I said, than answers, but it is exciting, and I am glad that you are here and helping me, and I really appreciate you, Maple. Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate you too, bud. You know, and I am absolutely so thankful for the fact that I now know that cats, tabaxi, like you are called, and clerics are two different things. So I also have an answer for myself. How good is that, bud?
I feel like Cloud is like very excited to be talking to Maple, more so than maybe in the past in conversations. So we'll be like, yes, I did not understand that you did not know the difference. But I'm very glad that, well, Maple, sometimes I feel like the world is a little bit, scary, or sometimes confusing, and I feel like I understand like what to do in an emergency, but I don't always understand a lot about the world. And it is nice that you are around and you are my friend.
Oh, bud, it's so good to be on this journey with you. We're just figuring things out together, aren't we? It definitely feels good for me too, bud.
I'm glad that you like it as well. And you're so strong and you're doing such a great job carrying my bag all this time. I really need to buy you a gift next time we go shopping.
Maple's face is suddenly beet red. Thank you, bud. That means a lot. I don't really have time to show the gun show to everybody I meet, but I thank you so much for the kind gesture there, bud. It means a lot to me.
DM.
Yes.
Rhys is going to look at Seveth and say, Cleric.
Yes.
What are the virtues of Palo?
Are you... Okay. Palo is the god of healing and the sun. He blesses us with the food that we eat, provides nourishment and health. What is there something specific you would like to know?
Quite a few things, actually. Quite a few things. Have you ever doubted Palo's power or influence through you?
I think it's reasonable that all of us doubt at times. I know as I've learned about not only Palo but the other gods that I've wondered if I was following the right path, but as I've studied and committed myself, I have continued to gain knowledge and understanding, and it seems that as I commit myself to doing his work, that he grants me more and more abilities. So I believe I am on the right path.
You're on the right path to restoring that village, are you? How long have you been at it?
Which village?
The one we're walking towards.
Towards Seva. Seva is my home. It is where I was born. It's where I had a child. But
how long have you been serving Palo then?
Much of my adult life.
And your home has been in disrepair your entire life. There's something to think about, I think.
Go ahead and just give me a straight up charisma roll.
Ahzyris has been listening in intently to this, by the way.
Ditto.
23. Nat 20.
Seveth regards you for a moment and just nods. She doesn't say anything more in response.
Surely, serve a deity long enough, there's something to show for it, don't you think? What do you have as a cleric except for signs and power, abilities, skill, proficiency. What are you representing right now, except for ruin?
We each make our choices. I assume that you are here on the surface for your own reasons. Would you care to elaborate for me what has brought you away from your home?
Ahzyris falls back and walks a little behind them at this point.
Not really. Not really.
I see we're on the same page then.
Well, wonderful conversation.
I wish I
Rhys
could say
leaves
the
her.
same.
Rhys steps back and leaves her alone after that.
Okay. She allows you to do that. All right.
Onward.
Onward. All right, you have continued down the road another hour or so. Anara, are you still up in front with Fenn?
Yep, still right in front.
Okay, each of you give me one more perception roll.
15.
Okay.
7.
Okay. Fenn, you are lost in thought and paying attention to the woods and whatnot. Anara, you spot off the side of the road, about maybe 30 yards deeper in towards where the trees are, several bodies. Sort of, none of them are moving. At a distance, you would assume them to be dead.
Everybody, stop for a minute. I see something over there in the forest.
Crossbow.
Anara's gonna sneak off to the side of the road, further back from the bodies, and kind of see if she can circle around them.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Does anyone else does anyone else see?
I just went.
Yeah. I imagine hearing this, Cloud would probably just perk their ears and just be very observant, just kind of standing, not moving, just looking around.
Okay.
How far away did you say this was?
About 30 yards. So about 90 feet.
Sorry, math hard.
No worries.
Are we able to see at this point now that it has been pointed out?
Yes. So it is
Okay.
apparent to all of you that there are a pile of bodies about just about 100
Oh,
feet off the road.
pile
Some
of bodies.
Some. They're
Can
not
I-
like stacked appropriately or anything. There are bodies off the side of the road.
As
Oh.
Anara is going to take a look,
Mhm.
can Ahzyris glance around to see if there's anything else in the immediate area moving, perhaps?
Make an investigation check.
Or lurking, perhaps. Who knows?
Veirona will slide up beside you and throw a hand on your shoulder.
So add a d4.
Cool. I know how to do that on this. Uh-huh. There we go. All right.
Do you see
Nope.
anything?
Hold on.
Rhys goes up to Maple and withdraws a handful of something out of his coat and mutters a few words and touches her and casts invisibility on her and whispers in her ear, I need you to be very quiet and just walk up to whatever's dangerous around here and then hit it. We won't see you coming. It'll be fun.
That's amazing. Also, I got a whopping 13 looking around with
Okay.
the D4.
All right. So you do not see any obvious beasts, monstrosities, anything like that.
Cool.
And Anara's going up full stealth.
Okay, give me a stealth.
Then
roll.
Sure, we'll just stay back here. I get.
That is a
Staying back is
whopping
okay.
8.
Okay, so as you are very stealthily moving through the woods, you step on a branch that cracks underfoot.
Classic.
I stop for a moment and just listen to see if anybody heard that.
Okay. As far as you
Upon hearing that,
Mhm.
I think Ahzyris is just going to start heading down the road closer.
Okay.
I think that Cloud would cast guidance on himself.
Okay.
Veirona kind of like shoves Sevith behind the rest of the group.
Just stay behind us, and if you see anything, please call it out.
Fenn is gonna
Does,
drop.
Does Maple know she's invisible? Did she notice? Like, what happened? She doesn't look at herself often.
Rhys didn't say it directly, but I mean, like, if you even like look down a little bit, I guess you'd see.
Okay.
I'm going to say yes. I
Okay,
don't know that Maple understands it,
Yeah.
but you would realize that something is very different. And you would be... Maple is not very acquainted with magic.
Right. Okay.
So Maple's response to this, I don't know. Only you know what Maple's response to this is. So
Okay. I think Maple for a second is probably frozen in fear, not that anybody can tell. But then in her best inside voice possible, Maple goes, Claude, bud, I'm gone. I don't know where I went, but I'm not here anymore. And
Maple, don't talk. Just hit something.
okay.
Not
It
our
is-
friends, right?
It is magic, Maple. I think it is a magic thing.
Oh. Did
It'll
you
go
do this?
away.
Did you do
no,
this then,
I don't.
Claude?
I can't do it right now.
It was Cloud. Yes, you can trust that, right? So and what Cloud said was to be quiet and to walk up to something that is dangerous and to hit it.
Okay, Rhys, that's the nicest thing you've said to me so far, so I'm just gonna go ahead
Cloud
and
said
believe
it
you,
is
bud.
why.
That sounds good to me.
Cloud
Okay.
said it.
So as Anara is getting closer, does she see?
Fenn, we'll come back to you in a second, Anara. Fenn, you were trying to do something.
I was just pulling an arrow out and then walking and then trying to see if I recognize the clothing or any aspects of his bodies to see if they were familiar to the people that I had encountered and spoken with on the way down.
Make a... How far away are you? Have you stayed on the road or are you approaching where you're at?
I was the initial, what you said, 30 yards.
Yeah.
And so I am approaching, but I'm not getting real close. So I would say I'm still in a bit of a distance now,
Okay,
but I'm trying.
moving towards them.
I'm moving towards them, but also like if they were directly in front of me, I would be moving like towards the left a little bit, trying to essentially like flank, but kind of figure this out.
Yeah, okay, I understand. Go ahead and give me a... Let's make it an investigation roll.
Okay. It's a 13.
You absolutely recognize the outfits as being those of some of the party that you had seen going north.
Well, I feel like, guys, remember that group on the way down that looked like farmers that told us? I think this is them. I'm not positive, but they're wearing the same kind of clothes.
That's not good. That's not good.
Well, Ahzyris is approaching also.
Okay.
And as Anara is getting closer, does it look like this was a battle between two enemies, or is this more like an animal attack and they were trying to defend themselves?
It definitely looks more like animal attack. There are 5 bodies there. None of them appear recently deceased.
Okay.
So They've all suffered various bite wounds. Their weapons, to the extent that they had them, and equipment are kind of scattered about them.
Okay. Anara's going to get up close to them and keeping a lookout for anything that might come out of the trees. She's going to search the bodies and see what kind of fun things she can find. Weapons, coins, jewels, whatever.
Okay, go ahead and give me an investigation roll.
All right. 13.
13. They have very little coin on them. Between the 5 bodies that are there comes to, in copper and silver, the equivalent of maybe 3 gold and 5 silver. The weapons that they have on them are several. Each of them has a battered, beaten short sword and a dagger. Other than that, they only have, very simple, a mug, a bedroll, some type of kind of metal plate as a mess tin type thing. Nothing substantial on them.
And
do any of the daggers look better than the mangled dagger she got from fighting the bullet?
None of them look like they had been swallowed.
It's a good start. I'm gonna.
None of them are particularly fancy. They all look like something that somebody's used as a tool.
Okay.
Fenn wants to just kind of check the site, make sure there's no signs of life, to make sure they're actually all dead, and to see if there looks like any trails of blood otherwise that demonstrate that maybe somebody got away and is hiding or something, to kind of try to figure out what, was this the entire party? Are they all dead? Did somebody get away?
Okay, give me an investigation check.
By this point, Verona's brought Sebeth up to that point, so tap your shoulder.
18.
Okay. You do see a blood trail heading off into the woods.
Anara's going to motion to everybody to come further up.
Rhys, when he walks up to Anara, says to her, "You're never going to get the stink out if you keep touching the surface dwellers. You know that, right?"
Well, maybe we should get some stink on us. Might help us to blend in a little better.
So what's your idea here, that we follow this, whatever it is, and avenge these farmers?
Not worried about avenging them. They're dead already. But
I feel like
whatever killed
there's-
them could be a nuisance further in the future.
Potentially, but I feel like, why go looking for a fight? That just seems silly.
Well,
If we want to look for a fight, we can do it after. We have Sebeth with us.
Yeah.
But we do not want to risk unnecessary life.
As you
Especially with
all
what
are talking, Sebeth is going around to each of the bodies and sort of examining them.
But what if somebody's still alive and we can save them?
I mean, if there was someone still alive, that would be very
There's a
rough.
blood trail here. I mean, I don't know if it means that somebody escaped or...
Verona's going to examine the blood trail. Can she kind of determine if the amount of blood that we can kind of see would be in the, okay, there's more outside than inside at this point?
Make a medicine check.
Okay. Not great. 11.
11. You would think that if it was one of these people, that probably they would not be long for this world. If it was one of them. If it was more than one person or some other creature, then you don't know.
Fenn, I hate to say it, but based on the amount of blood that I'm seeing, if someone was alive, it wasn't for very long.
Question to DM.
Mm-hmm.
How many bodies?
There's 5.
5?
Yep.
And
Would
we'd
my-
seen
would
9
my
people
We
before,
had seen
right?
9. Yeah.
Well, this has been fun. We're done here, right?
You have a strange concept of fun?
That's right.
Seveth, are you doing anything? I don't want to stay around here.
There's nothing to be done for them.
Thank you anyways.
What of the others?
Let us just be on our guard while we continue.
It would be appropriate to bury them.
Is that
Maple.
Yes.
Maple, keep quiet. That'll last quite a while. Might come in handy.
Maple, having told to be quiet, nods.
Very good, Maple.
God.
Well, would we bury them in the woods? Do you recognize these people? I mean, would it be better to go talk to somebody in a village and see if they can bring a cart?
Why would you bury them?
There's Seveth looks at you, Ahzyris, kind of strangely, and looks back to Fenn and goes, "I do not know these men, but it is not. It's inappropriate to leave them out for the beasts to be consumed, and it is only right that they be laid to rest. So,
could we burn them instead?
She regards you for a moment. It is not really my way.
I have an idea. Since there's so much work to be had, just like this group was traveling to find more work, we can just leave this for the next group.
Yes, I think we should just go. There's nothing dangerous here.
If you feel like you must go, you may go. I am going to bury these men.
I will help.
All right, maybe Maple will lend you some muscle.
Hey, Rhys. I heard there was no danger. Am I allowed to help there, bud? I mean, I'm just going off of your lead here.
Well, it seems to me then that maybe we need to stop for a moment and bury, because the whole point of us moving on is because there's obviously been attacks on the road and we want to escort you safely. But if you're unwilling to leave with us until these men are buried...
Between all of us, it will be quick.
All right.
And that is where we will take our break. So, we will be back in 15 minutes. So we will see you all just about 15 minutes from now. So, thanks for hanging out. We'll see y'all in a bit. Go freshen up your drink. Grab the necessaries. We'll see y'all soon. All right, and we are back. So, you all take the time needed to bury these 5 bodies on the side of the road. Seveth leads a very brief and simple prayer to lay these bodies to rest, and you get back on the road. Are you maintaining the same marching order that you had previously? Are you changing anything up?
Veirona is going to definitely be up front with Fenn this time.
Okay.
And it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's getting like a little bit into the afternoon, correct?
Yeah, you're into the later part of the afternoon. You've still got several hours before sunset. You've got about another 2 hours of travel.
Okay. With that knowledge, definitely gonna be like trying to slowly pick up the pace, just to make sure that we can try and get to town before nightfall, because she's very cognizant that wolves apparently fucked up a group of 9, and that ain't gonna spell good for us. So
Okay. So Veirona and Fenn in front.
Anara's right behind them.
Okay.
Ahzyris is still walking with Seveth.
Okay.
Are Cloud and Maple right in front of those two then, I think? If Seveth was behind us. Yeah.
Okay.
Invisimape does whatever.
Rhys will pull up the rear.
Okay. All right. You set off down the road. You get about half an hour down the road. Fenn and Veirona and Rhys each give me a perception check.
Okay.
Rhys 10.
Okay.
Veirona 16.
All right.
Then 21.
Fenn, off on
Nice.
the east side of the road, you hear whimpering.
Y'all, I hear it sounds like some kind of crying or something up here. Can I tell if it's animal or human or?
You would think it's human.
Sounds like somebody's been hurt, and then and I want to head to that direction, basically, calling out to somebody. Is somebody there?
You hear just it continues to sound a kind of a mewling, kind of whining cry.
Does just Fenn hear that, or are we all hearing that?
Fenn is the only one who would have heard it so far with those rolls, but with him having called your attention to it, you would know if you move in that direction much, you're going to hear it pretty quickly.
Okay.
And with that, basically, again, with weapon drawn, with the bow drawn, but heading in that direction to see if I can figure out what this whimpering is. So sort of tracking to see if there's any trampled grass or whatever.
You see just a absolute bloodbath as you come in. There are 2 more of these bodies. One of them absolutely destroyed. The second one of the people who had been along the road whimpering, and with that, crashing out of the woods comes a very large owlbear.
Oh shit!
Roll initiative.
Oh no!
Oh no.
No.
Question for DM. Has it been an hour? Is Maple still invisible?
It has been just under an hour, so Maple still has, I'm going to say 5 minutes on her invisibility.
Wahoo.
This will be less than a minute, so.
Rhys 5.
Okay. Just go ahead and call him out for me. I'm sorry. Cloud was
Cloud's 14.
14.
Anara's 11.
Okay.
Ahzyris got 15.
Okay.
8
Fenn
for
is-
Maple.
And Fenn is 6.
Nice.
You say and like Veirona has. Veirona has a 20.
Veirona has a 20. All right. Veirona goes first. So, Veirona, a very large, bloodied mess of an owlbear has come out of the woods, snapping its beak in the direction of your friends. What would you like to do?
How far away is it?
From you, you are 30 feet at this point from the owlbear. The owlbear has come out of the woods about 10 feet from Fenn.
Okay. Is it within like range of the bodies or the?
Yes. Yeah. Fenn is right there where the bodies are at. The one seemingly still alive.
Okay,
the
and
one
it's
corpse.
10 feet away from, roughly 10 feet away
Yeah,
from.
Fenn's right
from
there
Fenn.
with them.
Okay.
It's 10 feet beyond.
Okay. Yeah. Veirona is going to just in a panic, draw a dagger off of her side, and it's no one would really notice this, but it's wet with water, and she's gonna point 2 fingers down the blade and utter the words "Acreo" as she throws it and cast Ice Knife.
Okay.
Nice.
Needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. What's it trying to beat?
Does a 10 hit?
A 10 hits.
Okay. Takes 11 damage. And oh wait, no, this would just be for everyone around it. You would all see a shard of ice just streak out from the end of the knife and impale the owlbear before just a small explosion, a detonation of ice, just it comes out from the shard itself. I believe it just does a total of 11 damage plus another 6. No, that's total 11 damage.
11 total. Okay, so the shard of ice pierces into the owlbear. It and snaps its beak a couple of times in your direction. Are you going to move, or is that your turn?
Veirona is going to veer off and just sprint 30 feet back. Just yell, "Get to me!"
Okay, you're moving away.
Yeah.
Okay, easily done.
I don't want to fuck with that thing.
Ahzyris, what would you like to do?
Hit points does not do
that. Quick clarifying question.
Yes.
The owlbear has charged out. Can I see where the alive person is in regards to the owlbear and in regards to Fenn?
You can. The alive owlbear is at Fenn's feet, and the alive person is at Fenn's feet, and the owlbear is about 10 feet away.
And you said the owlbear is about 30 feet away?
The owlbear is about 30 feet away from where you guys were.
Right.
It is about 10 feet away from where Fenn is, because he had gone ahead to investigate where the bodies were.
Cool. Thanks. Cool. As a bonus action, Ahzyris is going to look at the owlbear and mutter something under his breath and hold his fist out towards it and grab at it. And the shadow around him sort of flickers and gives out, and nothing happens. And he pauses for a moment. And then as his action, he's going to cast a classic Eldritch Blast.
All right.
Blast.
Eldritch Blast.
Ooh.
Does a 12 hit?
A 12 just misses. The owlbear, sort of alerted to all of your presence, now is on edge, having taken a bit of damage from Veirona, and sort of is on the move. And as it is sort of jerking out of the way, your blast of eldritch energy goes wide.
Cool. He curses under his breath and follows Verrona's lead and will get further away, and also try and tell Seveth to also get back. But he is very quiet, so we'll see how that works.
All right. Cloud.
Is Cloud Cloud is within 30 feet of a few people.
Yes.
Will take a little bit of water out of a flask and like dip it on their paws, smoosh them together real fast, and cast Bless. And will bless. Let's see who's close. Veirona, I think I can bless.
Mm-hmm.
Can I bless Maple?
You can't. If Maple is aware enough to let you know where she is, yes.
I imagine she's probably still next to me, so I could probably potentially like feel her.
Probably just reach out and touch her. Yeah, I'm good with
yeah.
that. Sure.
And then
Yeah.
who else is our weapon user? Fenn. Is Fenn within 30 feet?
Fenn is up close enough. Veirona would have been coming past you. Yeah, you can get with it. You're within 30 feet of her.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll bless you three. So add a d4 to your attacks and saving throws, unless I say otherwise.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll just puffy paws together and be like, "You are blessed."
All right. Are you moving at all, or?
I'm gonna move back, maybe just 10 feet.
Move back 10 feet. Okay, very good. So after Cloud, Seveth goes. Seveth, seeing all of this, is going to go ahead and... How did a second go? Seveth... Let's see. This is what you get. Seveth is going to go ahead and cast Ray of Enfeeblement with
That's needed.
DC. The target misses its Constitution saving throw, so this beam of energy comes out from Seveth and hits the owlbear. The energy sort of coursing through it, and it takes a significant amount of damage. You can see that this energy hitting it has sort of knocked it back, and it kind of stutters a little bit, and again is snapping its jaw against everybody, or towards everybody, unable to actually make any contact.
Still got a lot of hit points to get through.
All right. Anara, it is your turn. Seveth is going to remain where she is.
Okay. Is there anybody within like melee range currently of the owlbear?
Not yet. It is
Okay.
not yet moved within Fenn's melee range, but it is getting close.
Okay. Anara is going to circle around the side.
Okay.
And staying far enough back, she's going to circle around about 30 feet to its side, get in close enough that she's within about 15 feet of it, and she's going to throw 2 daggers at it.
Okay. Go ahead.
So dagger 1 does a 14 hit.
14 hits. Go ahead.
All right.
Make your second attack.
Second attack does a 13 hit.
13 hits as well.
All right, so that's a grand total of 8 points of damage.
For both attacks or for one?
Total.
Okay.
4 points each.
Okay. You get sneak attack as well.
Oh, I get sneak attack as well?
It is engaged with one of your combatant or one of your friends.
Okay.
So.
In that case, it's 6 points for the first hit and 8 points for the second hit.
Okay. Cool. All right. So the 2 daggers kind of impaling themselves into the owlbear. It, snaps around towards your direction. It is gonna stay and fight it out. The owlbear now lets out a bellowing yowl and goes ahead, and it is going to charge at you, Fenn. And
bring it on.
It is going to make it is going to make all 3 of its attacks at you, because you are the only one within melee range. So it is going to make its beak attack.
Been nice knowing you, buddy.
Does a 12 hit?
A 12 misses.
A 12 misses. Okay, so it goes to bite down with its beak, having taken this damage, sort of, misses as you dodge out of the way a little bit. Pissed off, it goes to make a claw attack. An 18 definitely hits then. So it does 2 points damage.
2?
Those claws, so those claws come down and sort of scrape across the front of your shoulder, digging in past the armor, kind of catching into your collarbone a little bit. It's going to make its last attack. Does a 15 hit?
A 15 hits.
15 hits and does 6 points of damage. So the second claw comes in and it swats across, slashing at you and throwing another 6 points of damage your way. Maple, you are up.
Fabulous. Without Maple doing anything, because she's invisible, does that give her advantage already?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I think the fact that Maple is invisible and she can't say anything to put herself into a rage is enough to put her into a rage.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
She will race forward. Can she flank the owlbear?
Yes.
For Fenn's sake. She already has advantage.
Yep.
And she will go ahead, use her great weapon master feat, take that -5 penalty.
Yep.
Her muscles, you can't see any of this, but they are absolutely rippling. The veins in her arms have never looked better. It's
God, I wish I could see this.
She's furious about being silent. She's never won a silent game in her life. This might be the first time. So she'll go ahead. And she'll roll. So that is plus her bless. Let's see. Oh, does a 14 hit?
Did you add a d4?
Yeah, that was +1. So
a 14 hits.
Fabulous. Okay. So again, none of you guys can see this, which really sucks because she absolutely takes an annihilating swing at this thing with her great axe. So it's 15 damage. She aims right for the throat. +2, so it's 17 damage.
Nice.
Plus another 10, which is 27. So
how do you want to do that?
I would love to think that as Maple's axe swings forward, you guys don't see the axe make impact, but it's such a clean hit that the head just rolls off seemingly by itself.
Beautiful.
So with that connection and the amount of energy from that rage, you literally, Fenn, what you can see from your perspective is just the head of this owlbear flip back and then go sailing off in the distance.
I did it! I don't know how, but I did it.
And that corpse just comes to a lumbering thunk into the ground.
And Anara, since all this is happening at the exact same time, having not seen Maple at all, she says, "Fenn, what kind of arrows are those?"
I just thought it and it happened. I'm not sure what it was.
You guys ever see Princess Mononoke? It's like that.
Rhys goes up to Maple, having not even drawn his sword. He just kind of looks down at the owlbear corpse and looks at Maple and says, "Well, good things happen when you're quiet. Isn't that right, Maple?"
What's the timing on this? Does Maple, does her invisibility conveniently end around the same time this combat's ending? It was 5 minutes, right?
As soon as you attack, it drops.
Yeah.
All right. I think Maple, thinking she is still invisible, is mid-touchdown dance, two-handed great axe above her head, and goes, guys, I'm no longer gone, buds. Look at me. Look, I did
Welcome
it,
back,
Fenn.
Maple.
God.
Oh, wow.
You are so sneaky there.
First time I've ever won the quiet game, Claude. Look at me, bud. Look at me.
You're doing so well. I'm so impressed. Also, Fenn, you did some really good jobs. I thought that this was going to be a longer battle, so I didn't even worry about damage.
Well, I guess it wasn't me. I don't know where you just came from, Maple, but that was thank you. Ow. And I'm just gonna grab some of the berries that I had conjured last night, and all right, one moment, please. I'm gonna restore points that I've lost.
Okay.
I feel like we could take on like at least 8 of those at once, and we would be totally fine.
Roll a perception check. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
let's not wait around and check.
I'm gonna kneel down, having taken the berries out, and then see if I can still see the person who is whimpering.
Okay.
And then I have 2 berries left, so if I find them, I want to offer them the berries.
Okay, it is one of the younger kids who was part of that party as they were walking down the road. He does not appear conscious, but as you are bending down to do that, Sevith comes up and places a hand upon him, and you can see sort of the divine energy crackle through, and the boy's eyes sort of flutter open a little bit, and he seems stable.
Here, eat a couple of these. This at least help you a little bit. It just helped me, that's for sure.
Thank you. Where are the others?
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't think they made it. You're the only one we found.
He just sort of nods and closes his eyes.
But here, we'll get you to. We'll take you with us. We're heading to a village. Maybe you can rest up there. But was it this owl bear? And I just kind of kicked the head like a soccer ball, and
And
was that what?
He's sort of been able to push himself up a little bit at this point, and looks at it and just sort of shudders, seeing it even with it dead, and nods. He can't bring himself to speak. He also sees his companion's body laying there.
DM?
Yes.
How old is this kid?
Looking at him, you would guess late teens.
Okay. Veirona, seeing Fenn a little bit out of his element, just a smidge. Just gonna come over, grab the kid by the shoulder, and kind of like gently turn him away from. Actually, you never specified. So take them and just kind of shy them away from everything, all the blood, all the violence, and just kind of like usher them away. Probably about 20 feet away.
He allows you to do that.
Okay.
He goes with you.
Just kind of throw a look over head, just kind of.
Oh, good. We're walking again. Wonderful. Let's get moving.
Anara's gonna go over to the owlbear, collect her daggers, and try to pluck off some of the feathers as well.
Easily done. Sevith, looking around for additional danger, looks at you, Rhys, and says, normally we would bury them, but I think it's best that we keep moving.
Oh. Fair assessment. Bryce is already walking down the road.
Okay.
Just like with the last combat, Ahzyris has spent this entire time standing in the exact same place, staring down at his hand and muttering to himself. And as soon as he notices that everybody has started to move on, he will hurry up and catch up with everybody and
Okay.
just keep up the rear this time.
Okay.
Mabel will nod approvingly in Fenn's direction and go, "Hey, bud," as she's wiping the blood off of her cheeks, being in such close contact with that spurt, and, you know, probably
Gallagher.
collecting her great axe and herself, coming out of her rage. I go, "Hey, bud, didn't know you were a fellow sports fan. Look at you. We're going to get along so well." And she does a little pantomime of a kick before joining the rest of the group, just nodding in his direction.
Well, I'm sure we'll find some more time for an opportunity for it along this way, but hopefully no more of those things. That smarted. I appreciate you coming in there. I didn't even know. I just thought. I was like scared, and I was like, "Oh my God, this thing's got to die!" And then it did, and I was like, "Wow, I didn't know I could do that." But then all of a sudden, you appeared literally out of nowhere. You're a special woman there. I appreciate it.
All I've got to say there, bud, is looks like I've got a thing up my sleeve here, but I've definitely got a competitor in the gun show. Keep it up, bud. And she'll just she'll go and meet up with Cloud, hoping that somebody.
Mabel, Oh, sorry.
No, I was just hoping that somebody noticed the remnants of her rage. She was very vascular.
Mabel, it was weird. It was really weird to see you so quiet. That's one thing that was really weird. I had to feel for you when I casted Bless to make sure that you were there.
Oh, I definitely felt that, bud. Yeah, I was gone, but not all the way gone. So thank you for that. It definitely helped.
Great. And I really enjoyed that you like to be up in front because I really like to stay in the back. And it was really great for that. So let's hope that the future combats will be like that for the most part.
Definitely worked out for us this time, bud. I think we're really catching what we should be doing out here.
The entire time they are talking, Verona's gonna try and coax out any information she kind of can, in terms of like if the kid has family, just if there's anyone that we can kind of pass them along to, and so on and so forth.
Sure. So what you find out is that he and the rest of this group were, it was his uncle and his father were the two older males, and it was himself and his cousins and brother who had been, they had seen this advertisement for work in Mysa, the same job that you had heard about as well, looking for novice adventurers, and had been heading there to try and get the job. From what he tells you, the only family that he has would have been back south of Hosties, so there is nobody in particular on the way. However, as part of this conversation, Seveth is coming along with you and assures you and him that they will be able to give him a place to stay in Seva until a party comes along that might be able to escort him back south. Seva makes it very clear to you in this process, or Seveth, I should say, makes it clear to you in this process that she will not be remaining in town for an extended period of time. She will also be looking for an escort back to Hosties at some time, so she plans on helping this boy get his way back south as well.
That's as good as I could hope for.
All right.
With that, Fenn will go and try to catch up with Rhys to continue leading and scouting on the way.
Okay. You make it into Seva without any further difficulties. Coming into the outskirts of town, you see the tavern that you had stayed in previously. The sign above the door that just had the simple cask now has the ambassador painted above it. And as you are coming up to the town, you see there's a handful more people than there were the last time, but they look to be farmers from the local area who are just kind of bringing things through, dropping them. The inn does not appear to be surrounded by a large group or anything like that. There's not people milling about. Seveth, as you are coming into town, says, thank you again. If you go to the tavern, Veus will make room for you, and my Burrell will bring the promised reward. Let me go see my daughter, please.
Of course.
Of course.
Yes, and thank you for that thing you did back there. That was helped save our bacon a bit too. So
we're all in this together.
Well, Cloud's gonna kind of just like look at everyone. It seems like we're probably maybe spending the night here. I'm not really sure, but I don't know what your all plans were. I know that was really important for me to meet a cleric, and I really want to meet another cleric, but I know that I will. I feel like perhaps there were other things that other people wanted to do.
well, I still am guiding Veirona to Misa, but that's also where that advertisement was for more work, which I'm always looking for.
Yes, correct me if I'm wrong, but we agreed that we were all going to go to Mesa and check in about the job.
Well, that sounds great.
But I mean, if you're not comfortable, I fully understand. This battle was not easy, and we're likely to have more. If you're having second thoughts.
Oh no, I'm okay. If we could keep going if we want, but I feel like we, might be tired depending on how long. Because I think the journey to Misa was like a day and a half. I wrote down.
Yes. Yeah, you got about a day and a half.
And like, how much time do we have left in the day? Even
it's getting into late afternoon, getting into evening. So you've probably got about 3 to 4 hours of daylight left at this point.
So we could get started, or we could not. I don't know, but I am okay to go ahead.
Well, let's maybe get our reward, and I mean, it doesn't matter to me whether we sleep out in the woods or sleep in a hay barn. It's about the same thing.
You've been comfortable pretty much everywhere, but no, I think rest, yes, rest.
Yes, yeah. I'm pretty sure that Maple's beds are probably still assembled. So
probably. With extra mice just for you.
Yeah, it would probably. Oh, I hate those mice so much.
I did build those beds as sturdy as myself, so they shouldn't be going anywhere anytime soon.
One day, Maple, you're going to open your own inn. I feel like it could happen.
All right, so you go to the inn. Veus greets you. It only having been a little more than 48 hours since you had left initially. He assures you that yes, you in fact can have the loft again for the evening. Burrell and Seveth and Thora all come over while you are getting ready to settle in for a meal. Burrell presents you with another small chest filled with the promised coin. Thora comes up to you, Rhys, and just gives a nod and thank you.
Rhys says nothing.
Okay. Seveth walks over to you, Cloud. There is a library in Mysa. And she hands you a letter, much like the one Burrell had handed you before, sealed with wax. If you present this when you get there, any of the librarians will be able to help you. They may be able to give you access to some of the resources that could answer some of the questions that you had. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to answer more of them for you. I haven't met someone like you before in my work, so
Is that like concerning or like not concerning?
It's not concerning. It's just different. As I said before, I learned by worship and study. You are a good person, and you mean to do well. So, I don't know what it is that is granting you your powers, but it's a good thing. So,
well, thank you. I very much appreciate it. I have one question, and it's just like, what is this library called, or like, do you know what it looks like, so that I'm not totally lost?
Sure, yes, of course. You are going to the Hadir Library, Hadir, sort of. The mountains are the Haldir, but this is the Hadir Library. It is, when you reach Mysa, it is close to the center of town. If you ask when you get there, somebody will be able to point you in the right direction.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Certainly. So she presents you with that, and with that, you are all level 3. So at the just before we wrap up for this evening, we will go ahead and do hit dice and all of that stuff. If you guys.
Oh yeah, we don't get max.
You get max this time.
Oh.
Okay.
You get max for level 3, starting at level 4.
Okay.
It is roll or pick, but we will go ahead. We will do that. If there is anything else there.
Had me worried for a sec.
Yeah, no, you'll max out at level 3, so you'll be good. We actually want to roll for that. Okay, so you guys settle in for an evening's rest. Are you looking to do anything, or you just want to take a long rest and then get on the road?
I don't know how much time we have left, but Veirona is going to try and sequester Maple alone somewhere. It doesn't matter if it's outside, doesn't matter if it's inside, just like at some point find Maple alone, which
Isn't that
may
kidnapping?
may or may not seem to be an impossible task, but
Maple, do you allow yourself to be found alone with Veirona?
I would like to think that this time around, Maple uses what little free time she has, just because she doesn't have any use to talk to the cleric or anybody. She'll probably ask the barkeep for a couple spare buckets and go, just because nobody has been able to clean themselves in a long time. Maple included, she does feel dirty for the first time, so she'll go get a couple buckets of water from that pond, bring them back, and maybe in the back of the... Are there new hay bales back there that she could make some sort of...
So the hay bales are not so much replenished as they are sort of restacked a little bit. There is still quite a bit of hay distributed about the back end of the building, but it looks like much of it has been sort of regathered into these bales.
Then I would like to think Maple takes 2 trees in the back and kind of repurposes her hammock for a little bit to make some kind of partition that, you know, if any of the party members want to kind of use that as a handmade shower of sorts to kind of, like, you know, wipe down, get a little clean. She'll gesture to the party. So she's hanging out back there making this. So she's probably pretty easy to find alone right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Veirona, easy to do.
Hey, Mabel?
Oh, hey there, bud. What's going on? I'm just making us a little bit of a bath area here. What's up?
I appreciate that. You mentioned on our, albeit short travels, you don't have any memory from before you met Cloud. Is that correct?
Well, so here's the thing, bud. We've been walking for a little while here, and you seem to be the kind of person that I feel like I can trust enough to tell what little I do know. So I'll tell you this, I don't really understand a whole lot of what happened before. I'll be honest with you. I remember enough to know that I wasn't in a real big village. Our village didn't even really have a name. We were just kind of all hanging out, and one by one, folks were going missing. And wouldn't you know, eventually it just ended up being myself and my mom. I don't really have a good handle on how much time had passed, but given from what Cloud has told me, time passes in years, so I'd say at least 2 of those. But I don't really remember anything before that. So my village went from an amount of people. I'm not very good at numbers. I'm so sorry. But a number of people smaller than the number of people we've met so far. Then it just ended up being me and my mom. And then it was nobody at all. I tried to sacrifice myself for her at our temple in our village. Just because the people who were going missing were leaving notes behind. That's what I carry on my side here. And Claude actually was figuring out what one of them was saying for me. So that's where we're at right now. That's why I'm with Claude. They're the first people that I met that were able to try and help me out. So I'm supposed to be meeting Claude sometime today to figure out what the note says, but I don't know what it says yet. I'm sorry. That's all I really know.
I need to take a second because
in character.
All of this is probably spitting out much faster than I actually said it.
No, Veirona's fine.
Okay.
I'm not. Because I know what's up.
DM, there's something, but I have to talk to you privately about it.
Okay.
Sorry, but you're talking and I just it clicked in my head and it just spiraled for a second. So okay. Is that this a bit of an odd tale? So your entire village just disappeared.
Yeah, so I can't really tell you why, but I do remember on the last day, as people would disappear, so we had a temple. I don't know if it was a god. I've heard about those. We didn't really have any of those, but we made a temple in our village, and people would go inside and ask not to be taken away. So the day that my mom went missing, I went inside and told whatever thing is out there that was taking these people that they should take me instead. I don't really have a lot going for me. Claude really brought out the best in me, I think, in the last little while. So I believe in myself a little bit more than I used to. But yeah, every time somebody went missing, they left one of these notes behind, and Mabel will take out in her little pouch. It's a stack, yay big, maybe 30, 40 papers high, or however many Chris says it is, because Mabel can't count.
30 or 40 papers high.
Okay. So every time somebody went missing overnight, usually on a full moon, I think. So as many full moons as it would have taken, that's why I said I'm not really good with time. So as many full moons as it would have taken to get this many pieces of paper, that's about how many people we had. And then my mom.
So it's not so much that you don't remember anything, it's just you've had a rough go of it.
You know what? I would say that that fits me pretty well there, Veirona. I think you got the nail right on the head with that one, bud.
Okay. I confess, when you said you didn't remember anything, I was worried that we were wrapping you up in something that
Well, frankly, I wasn't sure if you know how old you were or if should even be including you in something like this. So, admittedly, some of this was just to soothe my own conscience, make sure that you weren't getting wrapped up in something unknowingly, because it's going to be dangerous. And I know you smile a lot, and I appreciate that because I like to smile too. But it's not always going to be smiles, happiness, and a rainbow. What we are committing to might be bad at sometimes, and I didn't want someone who didn't know what they were getting into to be looped up in this. So I appreciate. I'm a trained investigator, or at least as trained as I can be. So if you don't want help, if you don't want help deciphering these notes, this mystery, that is something I can do. Not to replace Cloud or anything, but just as a secondary option.
Okay.
All right?
No,
Okay.
that sounds really good. How about we do this, okay? So after I talk to Cloud, maybe the next time that, you say things are gonna get pretty dangerous, the next time we're doing watches, maybe the three of us can go over the notes together.
Sure. We have enough people that should be fine. All right. Thank you. Veirona just deeks off.
Okay.
Maple is just as confused about, what's going on with her as she was before. She just
An eternal screaming entirely.
All right. Cloud,
Why does it exist?
Were you gonna try and catch up with Maple at all yet?
Yeah, before bed, Cloud will just quickly find Maple. Hopefully, probably still alone. Maybe just seeing Veirona walk away, Cloud will step in there real quick. And you can see Maple. I don't know how Maple would interpret it, but Cloud's tail is, a little bit tucked between their legs, and their shoulders feel pretty hunched, and their eyes are looking a lot at their feet, more so than Maple as they talk. So Maple, I feel a little bit bad about something, and I need to tell you about it.
Oh, what is it, bud? Were you not able to read the note? Because it's okay if you can't read. I can't either.
I wish that was the case, Maple. I can read the notes, and I should have told you more about what the note said before. I was a little bit scared that maybe you wouldn't, want to stay with me. If I told you.
I mean, you're the first real friend I've ever had. I mean, my mom and I were friends, but she was family. So I don't think that really counts as somebody I met on, as much as, you and we met on the road. I think I learned what fate was with you. You told me you thought it was fate that we met. I assume that was, because I can carry your bag, and that works out for both of us. I get to work out a little bit on the road, and you get to have your shoulders free.
That's very true. That's really true, Maple. It's the note is from your mom, and I should have told you more about it before. I was afraid that maybe you wouldn't want to hang out with me, and I kind of realized now that was kind of bad. So I wanted to tell you what the note says if you want to hear it.
Oh, absolutely, bud. I'm all ears. They're not they're not as long and nice as, Rhys and Anara's, but they're still just as good for listening as anybody else's.
I agree. Anara and Rhys have very nice ears, and I still need to get that avocado hair thingy recipe. I still haven't gotten that, so I need to really remind me maybe if I forget. Anyways, your note says, "My only love, my time has come." Not really sure what that means. "I know not if we will meet again. It is my time to seek Moradin's blessing, whoever Moradin is, protect our dear Elduroror. I don't know how to pronounce that word. I can write it down for you. Hold safe the key. And I don't even know what the key is. It just seems very sad and confusing.
Okay.
I don't know if any of those words mean anything to you at all, but if they don't, we can probably just take this note to like everybody, because I mean, maybe they know, and I feel like they're pretty nice people, and I feel like we can trust them.
Well, I'll be honest with you, bud. Veirona made a very good point that she's actually what's called an investigator. So maybe we should show her, you know. She seems to have a lot of really good experience with things like this. So she seemed nice enough. You know, we haven't really gotten to talk a whole lot, but we met the same way you and I met. And nobody's been mean to me at all so far. All I've known from you all is niceness, and that's all I can really go off of. So if she's willing to help, I think it would be worth a go.
All right, yeah, I agree. I think that maybe with the help of everyone on this group, we can help figure out what's going on for you.
Okay. Chris, question for you.
Go ahead.
Mabel just knows that the only thing she brought with her, other than like, she didn't even bring spare clothes. She brought snacks, no money, and her great axe with her when she left. So when it comes to a key, that's all she's really thinking of, and that really long name. Does any of this mean anything to her?
Go ahead and make a history check.
Okay. That's a 9.
Okay. You would know that your mother, in her sort of daily goings about, the name Moradin would sound familiar to you. It's a name that you heard your mother say, but you don't necessarily have the ability to put your finger on what she was talking about or who she was talking about or anything like that. But that name sounds very familiar to you. The key thing, not at all. You don't know what that is at all.
Okay. Well, then I think Mabel will probably peer down at her great axe and then look back up at Cloud kind of quizzically. Say, you know what, bud? The only things I really left with were the tiny pack on my back and my great axe. So my axes seem to come in awful handy the past couple of goes around we've had, you know? So maybe that could be a key for something. I'm not sure what. It looks a little bit big to fit in any doors, though, don't you think?
Cloud is going to kind of like still like shuffle their feet a little bit and be like, I don't know, we can ask, but thanks for not, hating me.
No, you know what, bud? It feels good that both of us are in this together now. I was alone with that for a while, and it was just hanging over my head because I couldn't read what it said. So at least, hearing last words of sorts from my mom is kind of like closure for me. It feels good, I think.
Great. Well, if you want, we can walk back to the bunk together and say goodnight to everyone or talk about it with them in the morning.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
If you have something to do, okay.
I don't have anything to do, bud. And she'll, take out a rag, dunk it in the water, and wipe her face, and gesture for Cloud to do the same. How about you have the first go here? I got you those rags earlier, and you have a little bit of the smell goods. I think it's perfume. They called it.
Yes, that's great. I thought you were insisting that you were going to dunk me in the water. That's why I was making that face.
No, bud, I would never. I know how you feel about water. But yeah, go ahead, meet me upstairs. I'll be extra careful. Is it okay if I sleep next to you tonight? I kind of use my hammock for other things.
Yeah. It is.
Okay, so Maple will nod, content with what little information Cloud had to offer, more than she's ever had. So she'll walk back and greet the others. If they're all getting ready for bed, she'll also be ready for bed. And she'll just tell them that in a little bit or so, if people want to go take a gander at the bath situation, they can.
Easily done. So you all avail yourselves. Go ahead, Ahzyris.
Yes. Sorry.
No.
A couple things. Firstly, when they first get to the tavern, I'm assuming they sit down for a little bit.
Sure.
When they first get back, he is going to go through his pack for a little bit and pull out his books. Not open them, but just set them aside. But keep going through, muttering to himself. Eventually give up looking for whatever it was and replace his books. And then once people have started to head up to retire, just so I am remembering this correctly, the tavern is sort of like on the edge of like a tree line, right?
Yes. Yeah, there's
Perfect.
Yeah, the trees are just behind the building.
Wonderful. He is going to excuse himself to anybody who may still be down there, and he is going to go step into the forest for a bit until he is out of sight.
Okay.
Find a decent looking tree.
Okay.
A solid looking tree.
All right.
He's going to look at it, and he is going to start to cast.
Okay.
But nothing happens.
Okay.
He tries again with something else.
Mm-hmm.
This time he points, and again the shadows sort of flicker. But
as the shadows flicker, in your mind, you hear that laughter again, that deep no.
I'm sorry, that is the funniest shit you could have said. I'm sorry. He clenches his fists, does an Eldritch Blast, mutters to himself, 1. Nothing. Tries again, tries to do another spell, tries another, nothing, and just nothing works. Eventually he just leans back against another tree and slides down it until he sits down and drops his staff at his feet, buries his face in his hands, and just continues to mutter to himself, including, bet you think this is real funny, don't you?
All you have to do, child, is come back, and it can all be yours again. There is always room for you.
He's just going to sit there just for a while, just face in his hands, and he's just going to stay there for a while and probably eventually pretty late return back to retire with everybody.
Okay. And that is where we are going to end this evening. So, thank you all for sticking with us through our technical issues at the outset. We appreciate you hanging around. Thank you for helping us hit 100 followers during this episode. That's awesome. We will return for our next adventure in Umbranthal next Wednesday with many things afoot, apparently. So we will see what happens. So everyone, please have a safe and happy New Year's celebration. If you are up for it, join us on Saturday morning, and we will be chatting about DM tools and campaign prep. So we'll see y'all soon.
Wow. Wow,
Cheers.
wow, wow. Thank you. Hey.
Take care. Good night.